Today, we're discussing the topic of marijuana legalization, and we're discussing the effects and the issue behind why it is prevalent in today's society. All right. Marijuana has been classified as a Schedule 1 drug since 1970s and is classified by the US government as high potential for abuse and no acceptable medical use. However, 50 years later, the sentiment that the government had has changed dramatically. The 2018 United States Farm Bill makes it legal to use marijuana in specific jurisdictions across the country. 25% of states now have legalized marijuana, and more to come in the next couple of years. This, combined with increased public support for legalization, is at an all-time high with more than 60% of people in the United States supporting it. The question continues to be raised: should marijuana be legalized across the country? And why is it even an issue? Do stigmas remain in certain parts of the country, or do the more progressive parts will be the push for finally legalizing marijuana?
Talking about people that are losing custody of their kids because of marijuana.
Smoking weed makes them more active. In fact, there are people who claim that it increases athletic ability, in particular for long-distance runners as well as for swimmers. Many athletes claim that it improves focus and the ability to push past previous limitations.
A good job, it ruins your chances to get anywhere. Once you have a record, that's it.
For people who reported marijuana use or had THC detected through testing, the odds of being involved in a motor vehicle accident increased by 20 to 30%, the study found.
It's a gateway drug. You can argue that all you want, if it is or it isn't. The fact of the matter is, when you smoke pot, the people that you hang out with are going to have other drugs around you.
Active cannabinoid found in marijuana can greatly reduce the frequency and severity of seizures. A study has found that there was an average of a 51% decrease in the amount of seizures people experienced while using medical cannabis.
The use of marijuana medically has been legalized in many states. It can be used to relieve pain, help insomnia, nausea, the list goes on. Some feel as if it helps better than prescribed medications. If we levied a tax on marijuana, it would improve the economy along with additional tax revenue for state and local government. This has been proven from the states who have legalized the use of marijuana. In the long run, if marijuana were to be legalized on a national level, it would be up for investment. It would benefit employment as well. Thousands of new jobs would be created, which would help improve the unemployment rate.
Job fair attracting hundreds of people today. Air Tracker 7 over the fair about an hour ago. The line still out the door.
Alcohol and tobacco are far more dangerous than marijuana. Marijuana is the safest drug. Overdosing from it has a very low percentage rate. These numbers are rather low compared to the other death drugs, the drug deaths. Although this is a bit of an old statistical model, it still gives the overall increases of death. This is not due to marijuana alone. It is because of the mixing of marijuana with other drugs. As the years go on, the more types of drugs are created.
The reason why I'm getting arrested was because I had a marijuana cigarette. And I kept on telling him, no, I was not smoking marijuana. I was smoking a cigarette. I go to school the following day. I get a letter in my mailbox stating that I no longer
medical dangers when using marijuana. If used recklessly, it can lead to brain damage, respiratory effects, and a weaker immune system, etc. If we were to legalize marijuana, it would increase car accidents, for it does impair judgment along with affect memory. 1 in 10 people will be addicted to marijuana. For some, it starts to become a lifestyle and they feel less motivated. The withdrawal from it angers the user and affects their emotions more than when they were using the drug.
The argument for legalization has increased in recent years as the debate between whether it should be for medical use and as well as the increased number of deaths in recent years and the harm it causes to people has caused people to argue about it more and look at it in different perspectives. As well, on a greater scope, the argument between the state and federal government and who should have jurisdiction has also been a central part of the argument.
Only about 1 in 10 Americans actually oppose marijuana legalization for medical or recreational uses. For example, the Republicans and Democrats are deeply divided on the use for medical marijuana. 68% of Democrats or people who lean Democrat believe that medical and recreational use should be legal, while only 49% um, of Republicans believe that both medical and recreational can be legal. The age demographics also are a major part in the support for medical marijuana and recreational. Ages 18 to 29, the youngest demographic, support it the most, while seniors are least likely to support marijuana.
If enacted into law, the MORE Act would legalize marijuana, use tax revenue from marijuana businesses to help strengthen communities of color, prohibit immigrants from being deported or denied citizenship due to a marijuana offense, and ensure no one is denied public benefits. The MORE Act also allows courts to clear marijuana-related convictions from a person's criminal record.
Some states already support the legalization of marijuana for medical or recreational use or both. Many of the states have organizations that are promoting safer ways to inhale marijuana other than smoking it, for example, edible forms. 2020 has an initiative for two different acts, the MORE Act and the MRTA Act. The MORE Act reduces and repairs damage to colored communities affected by marijuana convictions. It reduces it from the federal to state level, and the taxes provided from the sales of medical marijuana will be used for job training, treatment, and business licenses. The MRTA Act um, uses it so that adults 21 and over can only use it and promotes reality based drug education.
Ultimately, the reason that marijuana has not been legalized yet in this country and the reason that this problem has not been solved comes down to the fact that marijuana's classification as a Schedule 1 controlled substance under the 1970 Controlled Substance Act has historically been used to systematically and disproportionately target, oppress, and incarcerate Black and Brown individuals. The federal classification of marijuana also allows for the government to collect a high income tax on cannabis businesses in places where it is legalized on a state level. Legalization would decrease the profit that the government makes, and the government also fears that potential taxes on legal cannabis would encourage patients to purchase from the black market instead of dispensaries due to the large cost difference. Additionally, despite Republican support for legalization increasing to a slight majority over the past 3 years and overall support for legalization at its highest currently, Republican support is down in 2020. Along with this, the Senate is controlled by Republicans, with their Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky being staunchly against marijuana legalization and having historically blocked related legislation.